She sent the text at 7:18 p.m., right when I was setting plates on the table. I'm having a harmless dinner with my married boss, don't wait up. I read it twice, then a third time. It wasn't the dinner that bothered me at first. It was the word harmless. People don't usually describe harmless things that way unless they're trying to convince someone or themselves. Before I continue, take a moment to subscribe. These are real-life stories about marriage, trust, and the moments that quietly change everything. If stories like this matter to you, you're in the right place. My wife and I had been married for 9 years. We weren't newlyweds anymore, but we weren't strangers either. Our life was routine-heavy. Work, bills, groceries, weekends that disappeared too fast. We loved each other, but lately conversations felt rushed. We talked around things instead of about them. Her boss was someone I knew of, not personally. Married, kids, professional. She talked about him often, usually about work stress or deadlines. Nothing that raised alarms, at least not until that text. I replied simply, "Okay, drive safe." I didn't want to sound controlling. I didn't want to start an argument over a dinner. I told myself this was normal. Adults have work dinners. But as the night went on, the house felt heavier than usual. I ate alone. The food tasted like nothing. I turned the TV on for noise, not interest. Every so often, I checked my phone, even though I told myself I wouldn't. No updates, no we're done, no heading home. By 10:30 p.m., I felt stupid for being uneasy. By midnight, I felt something else, disconnected. She came home a little after 1 a.m. She was quiet, careful with her movements, like she didn't want to wake the house. When she saw I was still awake, she looked surprised. "You didn't wait up," she said lightly. I nodded. "How was dinner?" "Fine," she said, "just work stuff." She kissed my cheek and went a shower. That should have been the end of it, but something in her tone felt practiced, like she had already answered that question in her head. Over the next few weeks, those dinners happened again, not often, just enough to feel intentional, always with the same explanation, always harmless. I didn't confront her, I didn't snoop, I didn't accuse. I tried to be the husband who trusted his wife. But trust doesn't mean ignoring patterns. She started dressing differently on those nights. Not inappropriate, just more effort. She checked her phone more, she seemed lighter afterward, energized. Meanwhile, at home, she felt farther away. One evening, I asked her directly if the dinners made her uncomfortable at work. I framed it carefully, like concern, not suspicion. She smiled and said, "You're overthinking, he's married, it's not like that." That sentence stuck with me. "It's not like that" is what people say when they know you're imagining something, but they don't want to talk about why. A month later, something small happened that changed everything. She forgot her phone at home. That never happened. It buzzed on the counter while I was cleaning up. I glanced at it out of habit, ready to bring it to her at work later. The message preview lit up the screen. "Last night was our little secret, same next week." My heart started racing. I didn't open the message, I didn't scroll, I didn't need to. When she came home that evening, I didn't yell, I didn't accuse, I simply asked her to sit down. I told her I saw a message preview. The color drained from her face. She tried to explain. She said nothing physical had happened, that the dinners were emotional, that he listened, that she felt appreciated, that work stress had turned into personal conversations. She said it got out of hand. I asked her one question. "Why call it harmless then?" She didn't answer. She admitted the word was for me, to keep me calm, to avoid questions. That hurt more than the dinners. Because it meant she wasn't just crossing a boundary, she was managing me. I asked her if she would have told me if I hadn't seen the message. She said she didn't know. That answer told me everything. The next few days were tense, not loud, just heavy. We slept in the same bed, but it felt like miles apart. She apologized. She promised to cut contact outside of work. She said she loved me. I believed she loved me. I wasn't sure she respected me. I told her something that surprised us both. I said I'm not angry about dinner, I'm angry about the secrecy. I told her marriage doesn't end when someone cheats. It starts to end when someone hides parts of themselves and calls it harmless. She cried. She said she felt invisible at home, that the attention felt good, that she didn't plan for it to cross lines. I listened, really listened. Then I told her how lonely I had felt eating dinner alone, reading that text, telling myself not to feel anything. We decided to go to counseling, not because we were broken, but because we were drifting. The boss dinners stopped. She changed teams at work. Trust didn't come back overnight, it came back slowly through consistency. I learned something important through all of this. Most betrayals don't start with sex. They start with language, with minimizing, with words like harmless. If you have to convince your partner something is harmless, it probably is. And if you feel the need to hide, it's worth asking why. We're still together, still working, still choosing each other more consciously than before. That text didn't end my marriage, but it did force us to finally pay attention. If this story made you think, subscribe for more real-life stories about marriage, trust, and the quiet moments that change everything.